Hello and welcome back to The Letter. And right now we are with Zach. Because I vaguely remember where this plays out. Because I think at some point, I want to say he cooks for us, but I could be wrong. Or that was before. Actually, it could be before. I don't know. I just vaguely remember what happens here. So let's, I guess, find out again what happened here. The very exhausted looking Zach. Did he run a marathon?
Sup, Z-Man?
Hey, Zach. Sorry we just barged in here. Ash was...
Relax. Z-Man gave me a copy of the key himself.
Light as my tone might be, his arrival eases the restless edge in me. Who knows what I would have done if something bad happened to one of my friends. Another minute has gone by without him showing up. I've resorted to unconventional methods.
Only after you broke the 13th one? I can't keep replacing them every time you think it'd be a good idea to break into my apartment. And stop calling me Z-Man!
I didn't break anything this time.
Ash, just because I gave you a key doesn't mean you can just stroll in here whenever you want to. And hey, is that my...
Yep. It's scary how that friendly banter and easy smile comes naturally. I do it even without thinking, and that speaks volumes about how comfortable I am around him. That's nice, isn't it? What makes me afraid of it, however, is the idea that time might come where I might just do these without even meaning to offend him in some way. Friendship we have might be closer than most I've shared with others, but there are boundaries you can't cross without the other's permission. Zach's been respectful of that so far, neither asking about my parents or what happened to them. Me? I bet he'd say not so much. It's also this easy banter that makes me wish we could just stay like this, no worries, no problems, potato chips and debate on whether or not I deserve them. As usual, something always cut moments like this short.
Of course he eats all of it. You know, I was saving that for the weekend. Did you at least share some with Bella?
Don't worry about it. I'm good, Zach.
Really? It's free food, you know?
Yeah.
What was that you usually say? You don't say no to free food? What happened?
No, I'm just not hungry.
Her tone forces him to do a double take. Zach doesn't push it. Question all too clear in his eyes when he glances in my way, though. I really wish I could answer him despite my best efforts. Isabelle has been unforthcoming as well. What am I supposed to do? I can't just force her to speak, can I? Not a criminal to be interrogated. She's a friend, for Pete's sake. It's a good thing Zach is better handled this situation than I. Soon enough, he changes the subject. Where it leads to isn't necessarily the better topic, however.
Aye. But if you want something, just say so. I've got a fully restocked pantry right here at your disposal. Still not a 5-star level thing, but for an empty stomach, it'd do. Say the word.
Thanks, Zach. Maybe next time. Food is not really what we came here for. Ash, he's the one who...
She's still into one of her uncertain silence again before glancing my way. There's a plan there for me to take the lead in this, but where do we start? Mansions, strange things we've been seeing, the letter... Even I'm afraid of what he might say. I can't even believe I'm considering taking a deeper look into this whole thing in the first place, but here I am.
I should have listened.
How is everything with you lately, Zach?
Hold on, Ash. Both of you. Did I just hear you say that? Is this why Isabella's here? Has something happened?
Calm down, we're just here to check on things. So, did you meet Andrew about the photos?
What photographs?
Unlike when he brought up the subject on the photos with me, he doesn't hesitate when Isabelle asks for it. Zach hastily fishes them out of a nearby drawer and hands it to her. I can almost see in him the 1 second hindsight kicks in, the realization that she would have been a better listener than I. Makes sense when all I've been doing until this morning is call it a Halloween prank. She goes through each of the prints and lines, shoulders growing stiffer by the second till she till she has gone rigid and pale. But it is telling glances they exchange afterwards that speaks volumes of things running inside their minds.
What did Andrew say about them?
It could be one, but there's no guarantee it's a supernatural thing. It doesn't always happen. So, that's a dead end right there. Now that I think about it, bothering that guy for this feels pretty silly now. But with the dreams lately...
That's all? Did he say anything about the damn letter at all? Did you ask him even?
I expect Zach starts to look at me like I've grown a second ahead. Yeah, I would too if there was ever a universe where I was standing in front of myself. Because even as a child, I never believed in ghost stories. The lucky charms and mystical objects from my mother have often been stored away, given as a paltry gifts. Paltry gifts? Yeah, to those who would appreciate them more.
Yeah, that's really everything. The letter kind of slipped my mind. The photos were more important at that time. There was some stuff about the local horror stories, though. Talked about the curses, and he was really fascinated with the story about a wraith asking for a sacrifice to move on.
I don't remember that being mentioned.
Kinda nasty if you ask me. But it does make sense if you simply go along with it. I'm not sure how this will help in the grand scheme of things. Why are you asking about this anyway?
Rose's death isn't just a coincidence, Zach. It may have something to do with... I may have...
Wait. Stop right there for a sec, Bella. I thought you ain't buying this stuff, Ash. Just the other day, you said the exact same thing.
Well, things have changed. Granted, I haven't eliminated every single possibility here yet, but what else is there to go on from here? The weird look Zach shoots on my way doesn't help one bit in helping me gather my thoughts earlier, and that's what I came here for. Somehow everyone's suddenly just so worried about me. It's not like I'm pulling this out of my ass.
I still don't, but even Rebecca, out of all people, claims there's something. Whatever this is, someone has got to look into it. Everything about this screams shady.
And along with Isabelle's warnings, what's occurring around Zach, what's happening around Luxembourg since Isabelle found the letter...
Have you two seen the news this morning?
Zach's puzzled expression is enough to answer, of course he has. Another night, another nightmare. Guy most likely went out as soon as he got out of bed to shake the image off. Memories have never really left him. Isabelle, though.
I haven't, actually. Mama called, and I was busy.
That could easily mean anything. Did Koya, her older brother, end up in jail again? She's had to bail him out numerous times in the past, though all that did was piss her off, not sap out every ounce of cheer in her. Or is it that the other brother, the younger, who he was insisting that he'll quit school so she could come home? That was 2 years ago, as far as I know. She already sorted that one out. Could have been her father, right? With the mansion sale, she has earned enough to cover every bill for a while. It should. So what is it then?
No problem. It should be in the afternoon news as well.
Whatever is bugging her, I doubt it's something meant for a casual discussion. Else she would have mentioned it sooner. Taking my curiosity for later, I take the remote, begin sucking through the channel. Distraction, not a good one, I admit, but it's definitely better than leaving her to brood. Eventually I find one doing a recap of this morning's reports. There it is. Poor guy is indefinably with how badly his body has been burned. Murder via arson? That'd the logical explanation if I was officer looking into it. Except they couldn't find the source of the fire. The fire didn't even spread.
Found dead in the early hours of the morning today. The fire was contained within the room and no other tenants were harmed, according to Luxbourne police.
They're going to consider spontaneous human combustion soon enough, if you don't find anything else. But what's important for everyone to note is that the state of the room.
A similar writing was found in another victim's room from last week's incident. Both were employees of Briar Realty Corporation. LBN has reached out to the...
I still wonder why all of them's been affected, though. Because they've not seen the letter as far as I could tell. But then again, right, because it was like a bunch of people worked on the mansion. So like what happened to Cooper, hell, I wonder how many other deaths like this that I've missed while I've been looking into right. LPD is already thinking it's a serial killer at this point. How long until they consult the London metropolitan? I'm not sure. The Anselm Butcher has always been an enigma, even to the people within the city. Gone for a few years, then in the next, one body after another is found. Merely handling the case has apparently driven the chief inspector insane years ago. He never did find out who committed those murders. Maybe now this time.
This is because of that thing, isn't it? I did this somehow.
Words all come out like a whisper, but each syllable lingers in the air, heavy with her guilt. The thick tension of the room strikes harsher than any of the things we've said. However, she also has to understand, that she isn't the only one on this. No one has asked her to take this upon herself. Rebecca won't. Zach won't. I sure as hell
It
won't.
ain't too late. We could still fix this. There's 3 of us here. 4 if you count Rebecca.
No, she's staying away from this. I don't want to involve her in this any more than I already have. Both of you as well.
I already said it. That's completely out of the question. Stop asking.
Curtain aside, this is still a whole fucking mess and we're in it blind. One way to make it worse is if we start running around like a bunch of headless chickens. But I have a concrete plan now, I think. Maybe Isabelle's right. Maybe we should dig deeper into BRC itself. Maybe we are looking at it the wrong way. However, my suspicions are mine for that moment. Details are something Zach doesn't need to know until I have something to show. It's enough that he's aware that I have an idea in mind. For his part, Z-Man doesn't push it, and nothing but heavy silent leads our departure hours later. Seriously, Zach would probably make a more reasonable officer than me, if he only had the heart to join the force. He could certainly use more kind people like him. But it's because that thought is, I push all of it into the back of my mind as Isabelle and I head for my car. I can't stay distracted. So except for a few half-hearted attempts to get some kind of reaction from Isabelle, the drive to BRC is quite an awkward affair, more so. The hour-long wait for nightlife. Even with only the 2 of us, the place is rife with tense energy. Only a matter of minutes now. But the ticking seconds don't take away the edge. For the 5th time, I've reached out and fiddled with the radio, just turning the knobs with no real purpose. It's a nervous quirk I've developed and never bothered to correct during stakeouts. Something to keep my mind occupied during long nights. What else is there for me to do? The person I usually count on for a casual, out of the blue chat refuses my attempts at starting one.
Ash, out with it! If you have...
What? Wait, what? Hold on.
Ash, out with it! If you have something to say.
Okay, I thought... Weird. The fact that it didn't end with out with, I didn't expect more, but okay. So, the way she quickly falters into silence after, in spite of the tone she takes though, it makes me doubt if she really means anything she's telling me right now. She hasn't even glanced my way since we arrived.
Having second thoughts? You can still back out if you want.
We're just going to my office. Why should I?
Dunno. You can get in trouble maybe. This isn't exactly legal.
Scope BRC out to see if the real estate company has any more information that may be of help. Find things about Cooper and the other agents assigned to the Ermengarde Mansion. According to Isabelle, it's the last property the victims have worked on. Sure, I could also check the station for full reports. It's the easy semi-legal way. But I don't want to bump into Chief right now. The guys at the precinct will definitely throw me out of his orders as soon as they see me. Not that my plan right now is any better, I'm just breaking into a different place, more or less with a civilian to boot. The latter still doesn't sit well with me. It never will, especially if this might put her in a very tricky position afterwards. She's been very careful when it comes to her work. Almost a model employee, as people would say. Why is she throwing a caution to the wind now?
I'm not an employee here. I'm not supposed to be looking for any confidential stuff. Only people like you are privy to.
If you mentioned earlier that this is your plan, I might have had enough time to think about it. I already promised to help if you need access to those files. I didn't think you'd want to see them this soon and in this way. Besides, the same goes for you, right? You were taken off your case. Won't you get in trouble with your boss?
Honestly, it's a toss-up between breaking into her office or into the right mansion. As it stands, I'll have an easier time getting in here first. After all, why would someone want to break into a realty company? Been here many times before anyway, for a few casual visits when I wanted to bug Scaredy Cat. Over the years, I've more or less grown familiar with the security setup and how badly staffed they are. Plus, it's an old building. Bankruptcy rumors are true. Just mean their access protocols might also be outdated.
Still, I can do this on my own, you know.
Really? And how are you even planning to get into our office without an access card? Please explain.
Probably the same way he broke into Zach's place.
Wow. I was going to pry open the card reader and use a gecko.
You're a hopeless case. I really want to know why no one has locked you up yet.
Yeah, you're helping me with this. Willingly. I don't think that'll sit well with the Philippine embassy either. Chances are you'll probably get deported the minute they find out.
Ah, okay. So low blow, I know, but it's worth the shot when she can still turn back. Not like I don't have any means to get into the place. With or without her, I have a way.
At least I have a reason to be snooping about. My badge and rank can speak for me in case things go south. You?
Past a second, it seems to work. Hint of panic and hesitation flashes across her features when she looks to me with searching eyes. Then unexpectedly it dissolves, not behind the fear I'm anticipating, but underneath something sharp and searing. Not sure what she sees exactly, what she's hoping to find short while she's holds my gaze. All of it merely unspoken, no longer. Then a minute later, she suddenly averts her attention back to the window, training it once again at some point inside.
Isabella, please, now's not the time.
It's too late for that, Ash. Give it a rest.
An appeal spoken in a voice too harsh coming from her. Perhaps unintentional, perhaps one that's already too exhaustive of everything going on lately. It's hard not to concede when she takes on that note. And soon, despite myself, I sigh. Taking away every concern of the lunch round in favor of trusting her on this. According her, the same confidence she has implicitly given me all of this time.
Alright, okay, if that's what you want. And don't worry, I didn't mean what I said earlier. I won't let anything happen to you.
Okay. Her lips briefly turn up in a smile, though none of the cheer reaches her eyes.
Just get this over with, okay? Everyone should be out of the office by now.
Somehow the uncertainty in her posture makes me wonder if she intended it as some kind of comforting gesture. Whether it's for me or for her, she doesn't let me find out. Without saying another word, she exits the car. I'm left scrambling and chasing after her. She's already at the side entrance. And raised on the card reader beside it, another poised to push the door open. I catch up to her. Whatever doubt there has been in her face a while ago, it's gone. Seeing her like this makes it easier to believe my worries are unfounded. That things might go smoothly this time.
And where do you think you kids are going?
Nowhere?
It's late. Most offices in this building have already closed up shop for the weekend.
The bloke seems friendly enough, though one can't really tell from his voice alone. Might be worry sort for all I know. Keeping an unconcerned face and a loaf air won't hurt, until I figured how to wiggle us out of the situation.
Come back on Monday if you have important business.
But from the way Isabelle's face brightens up, it looks as though getting through won't be too much of a trouble. Probably been working for a few months of rate then. Maybe around 4 or 6 months max. Otherwise, he wouldn't have recognized Isabelle for me. Or Isabelle or me. At first glance, I haven't shown my face here since I've been assigned to the firm case a year ago. First place, not that there are security officers that have ever lasted a year in service. The longest was around 7.5? Only this guy around that before he gets fired or finds a better paying job. At the moment, his too friendly attitude is almost a gift.
Hey, Seb!
What? That toad! Hey there, dude!
Oh, look who we have here. Been a few days since I last saw that ponytail in here, Santiago?
Close enough.
Wait, don't tell me yet. I'll get it right this time. Sanchez.
You were closer the first time?
Drat. I swear it is on the tip of my tongue. I just need a hint to remember.
I take it back. The geezer's not going to last past this month. Can't even remember a regular employee's name.
Alrighty, I'm sure of it this time. Centillon?
Nope.
Still a ways off, Seb.
Isabelle, we don't have all night.
No, just let me handle this. Sorry, Seb. Some other time. We're in a bit of a hurry. I just need to get a few things from my cubicle. Important work stuff, you know? Is it okay if we drop upstairs for a sec?
Oh, absolutely. No, go right ahead. As long as you have your access card with you, we're good. Not sure if I'm allowed to let your boyfriend in, though.
Who, me?
My what?
Boyfriend. The guy with you, isn't he?
It's a fair observation, if I do say so myself. Needless to say, the silence that sends is both uncomfortable and terribly awkward. I would imagine. Although the latter is probably coming mostly from me, because in the next second, Isabelle laughs. Louder than the ones I've heard from her lately, a comforting sound, really, after seeing her in such a dour mood since this morning. Even as all of it subsides into mere chuckles sooner than I'd like. It's comforting to see that I'm at least partially responsible for it, despite my poor heart being beaten to a sorry pulp.
Oh, no! No. He's definitely not my boyfriend.
She might as well have set it on fire and reduced to dust while she's at it. Frankly, the number of no's in the Senate alone is a bit too much. Christ. One would have been enough to get the message across. Did she really have to put it that way?
It's impossible! Stop being funny, Seb. I'll go on ahead, okay?
She quickly shuffles inside with nothing more than a small wave, behind an even more awkward atmosphere for me to wade through. It would have been bearable if I didn't have to suffer through a stranger's amusement. Alas, woe is me.
Not the boyfriend, but close to it, huh?
Mind your own business.
These days. Good to see her up and about, though. Thought for sure she'd up and disappear like the others.
Excuse me?
Well, you know, stuff in the news.
You mean what happened with Rose Cooper?
If I'm going to be stuck here with him for a while, I might as well try to gather as much intel as I can. He may just be a guard, someone with no real authority, but most of the time, people like him are the ones who know more than they let on.
Yeah, but even before that, we've got a couple of good blokes we never saw again.
Really? Those guys could have just resigned for all you know.
No, I only catch tidbits of stuff from over here. Oh, seriously, I heard the branch is getting flushed soon, but that's no excuse for anarchy. Figures why Boss Man's been in an awful temper these past months.
They managed to strike a good deal with the mansion in Ansem, right? That didn't do the trick?
Didn't seem like it. The bloke's shouting like no tomorrow again. Wasn't very pleased when Gurley called and asked for another leave yesterday afternoon.
Gurley? Isabella?
It's not too surprising considering she's already been gone for 3 days. Now she's asking for another? Not that that's a bad thing, it's within her rights as an employee, but Isabelle's rarely uses her work leaves.
Yeah, poor lassie if you ask me. She found him a buyer for that mansion after all. The least you could do is be considerate to her after a family member's passing.
Wait, what?
The rumors, BRC, Rose Cooper missing action play, all of it ceases to matter in that instant. Almost on instinct, my eyes zero in on the intercom speaker, as the staring daggers at it will show me the man behind the voice, so I could see the truth in his face myself.
Oh, you don't know?
No, what?
Nothing. I shouldn't be the one you're asking, and, you know, things might get a bit boring here. No one really wants to hear what a poor old guard wants to say.
Well, too bad. We want to hear Seb.
Why don't you just go after her? As long as you're not looking to create trouble for me, it won't be a problem. You aren't here for that, right?
Nope. He's lucky I'm not here to hurt anyone. If I were someone with ill intentions, he might not be smiling at the end of the day.
Well, no, but...
I'll go and unlock that side entrance for you then. Just don't forget to turn off the lights before you both leave, okay?
Hey, wait a second. What do you mean by...
Gets off the connection before I could finish, and my question dies in my throat. Soon the latch clicks and the side door swings open. Seb, a stout man wearing a uniform still too loose for him, waves me over from the gap before he disappears behind his station again. Just my luck. Here I thought I'm going to have to count on whatever Isabelle brings with her. Although no matter how much I want to feel happy, something else has already taken a firm seat at the forefront of my mind. Is that why she's been acting not like herself today? Since when? Of course, as I step into the building, I try to push all of these questions as far down as I can. And these folks, work is work. But what if I've heard exactly what I think it is, if it's a sign of things to come? Honestly, I feel too good about that. Okay, this is gonna get creepy now. It's quite right up to the 7th floor, where the BRC Luxembourg main office is. So I've been kind of switched the gas elevator's power on just as I'm about to head for the fire exit stairs. Which is a welcome relief. Active guy, but stairs, I don't want to tire out too quickly in case things get ugly. There probably won't be any trouble with the building this quiet, but you never know, I swear. The whole place definitely feels eerie at this time of night. But until I've confirmed anything, those are still just stories, or things that happen. No need to scare myself. Staying calm means fewer mistakes.
Oh, I sure am fucking gutsy, especially with what I'm doing.
Breaking a lot of laws here. Also putting Isabelle in a lot of risk. Best thing that can come out of this is that Isabelle is right along. Worst case scenario, someone finds out Isabelle's involvement in this and her boss fires her. Find evidence that would imply the BRC or look right in a crime, and my meddling, if I'm not careful enough, makes it inadmissible in court. Though I'll be honest, I'm strongly for losing my job over facing right. For some spirit or ghost or whatever it is. Could always work around the problem with the former. Isabelle could also find a better job. BRC never did pay her properly despite her efforts. Fighting off a phantom? How does one even do that? Do guns even work with them?
Yeah, not going to happen.
But tonight, I'm here to fix things. If I do it without leaving a trail, all the better. Good thing that's what I'm good at. Okay, nothing creepy yet. I was expecting the door to open and then ghosty girl is standing right for us. What I'll probably never be good at is finding the proper words when the sitch calls for it. But seeing Isabelle small from beyond those doors, how she pushes through despite carrying an entirely different burden this time. She's pretending as if everything's normal. It's difficult not to try. People who never looked beyond her smiles will never know, will never understand. Hell, even Rebecca's probably not yet aware of this. And yet, we have other problems at hand. I've done the same thing plenty of times to protect myself after all. It's all in her eyes once she glances up at the few light threats I give the door. Wastes no time in leaving the mess of papers on the table, opening it for me. Though even her confusion as she takes in my presence barely hides it.
Seb let you in?
Yep. The rough edge in her voice rings a whole different tune now that I'm aware why. But knowing it's different from hearing it straight from her. Can't simply bring this up, can I? Not a topic suited for casual conversation. And I doubt she wants to talk to me about it. As much as want to help, there's a distance between us. I'll never be able to cross. When that wouldn't even be there if it wasn't for me. Perhaps if I had been more honest years ago and less of a coward, I might have been able to. Apparently I couldn't even do that for the one person I keep telling myself that I care deeply about.
What can I say? I'm a very charming person.
To a rock, maybe.
This is the closest we can get to, I suppose. Light banter, the fleeting glances, or sometimes the long bouts of silence. It's enough for me, it is, because even without words, there's comfort. With her, it's easy.
Must be a pretty cool rock then.
Ugh, over yourself.
Gosh.
Hey now, I deserve some slack here. Today's supposed to be my day off, and yet here I am helping you out.
Helping. By standing at the door.
Well, you're not exactly letting me in.
By what she says, she moves to block me when I try to enter. She must have expected this the second we walked up to the building entrance and counted on the night shift guard to bar me from the place. It's reassuring to know she's somehow worried about me, although it's a bit misplaced at the moment. Besides, her concern aside, I really can't let her get into the thick of things without me not with all the problems on her plate right now.
Isabella?
Seriously, Ash. Seb might get in trouble for this. You might get in even bigger trouble with your boss.
And you're not? We've already talked about this back at Zach's. It's out of the question.
At least do it for Seb, please. He's a really nice guy. With the way things are going here, he's...
Oh, he's on the verge of getting fired? That I agree with her. Seb's not such a bad fellow, might be a little careless with his job and talks too much, but he means well. Hate to see that guy leave here with a bad record in case something goes wrong. However, the anxious look she cheats back at the table behind her brings an even bigger worry.
Did you find something? Aside from what you told me about yesterday?
Not yet. I'm not sure. I haven't started going through the files we have in the records room. Just the ones they handed to me and Rose.
Let me see.
Wait, Ash!
Isabella, I already promised you that no one's going to get in trouble after we're done here. Even Seb. I'll make sure we leave the place clean.
Her hesitation's still there, a split second of indecision. She tries to form an argument. Eventually, when nothing comes to mind, she steps aside.
Okay, but we can't take the original files out of this office, clear? Not even a single sheet. We'll just have to make a copy.
Don't worry, that's the plan.
Appears to reassure, nod, then shortly she gestures for me to follow. Passing the sea of cubicles, I can't help but take in everything in their office. Force of a habit for the most part. As far as I know, BRC looks like used to own this whole building. Offices on several floors, once upon a time. Real estate is still a lucrative business. A company in this side of the country. Then competition showed up and suddenly everything is not so good anymore. It only got worse as the years went by. Or so according to the rumors. Now the ranch is just in this floor, despite what the huge sign of the building facade says. Frankly, it's not too hard to believe when one looks at the state of this room right now. A number of desks have been cleared out. Personal mementos are scarce as if the employees have gone on an exodus. That'll be the downsizing, probably still worrisome though. Of course, I shake away all this when Isabelle starts handing me the paper she's been looking through. Focus, Frey. There's no point in whining or dwelling any longer on it. That's why we were in here in the first place. To find out what the real deal is. The old-fashioned way. Isabelle present is a whole other blessing too. I couldn't imagine how long this would have taken if I pushed going in here alone.
Is this everything? Where are the documents you mentioned?
Still locked up in the records room. Do you need them now?
Bring them here. Everything that has to do with the mansion's sale. Even those who worked on it during the renovations. The cleanup. Everything. Including your mandatory sign-in sheets.
It's an odd thing to bring up, but at least it lets a laugh from her before she heads for the record room. She remembers, no matter how weak the sound of it is from her usual ones, it's a welcoming thing to hear. Reminds me that the Isabelle I know is still in there. Turns Mint's layer with a thick stack of folders and binders. The next half of the hour we work in complete silence while we dig into everything compiled in the folders. An easy task considering how thick the whole thing is, but there is two of us. In fact, Isabelle does most of the work, sorting the contracts, employee lists, and stuff we won't need into a neat pile. These files for the restoration alone makes up a stack of papers that's an inch thick. Third-party service provides hired... God, I'm losing my breath here. Third-party service providers hired for the masonry, radiators, woodworking, plasterwork, slate roofing, and a whole bunch of other things are well documented. Hell, every single contractor worked on the project were listed individually, even if they were just there to do the plumbing. High profile and high cost to stay, alright? With the scope comes the loopholes. Means plenty of room to hide something in if there's something fishy going on. All I have to do is find a pattern. It doesn't take long. On closer glance, despite the original owners shouldering renovation costs, I'll be surprised if they've managed to break even on the Ermengarde Mansion. What with the additional expenses for the open house, the commission, their agents, and other overhead fees. At one point, the negotiation to get listed under BRC's name almost broke down too. Some disagreement about the listing price. The owner wanted to be rid of it as quickly as possible, keeping the worth at the profitable level. BRC was insisting on a higher amount, double what the appraiser suggested. This plus the rumor that their branch is closing? BRC Luxembourg really is in the red. The sale of the mansion couldn't have easily been a desperate move to keep the branch afloat.
No wonder the final sale happened as fast as it did. Did you know about this?
No, they took it off our hands after I submitted the final documents for the sale. I didn't even know until I read this. I'm not sure if Rose did. I've only been given the key to the records room after she... Anyway, my point is, they've kept all the files from me. Rose was the one who compiled everything from our side. And even then, she was probably not aware of this. There's only so much they let us know. After that, they just told us to wait for our commission, and that the legal team would handle the rest. The rumors are true. Huh.
Seems so.
Jeez, this place is just unlucky, going bankrupt while the rest of this crap is happening. This isn't what we're looking for. What we need is who the people aside from Isabelle and Cooper involved in this business with the mansion, and the how they are now. Can't do much with the outside contractors. Won't be on file. The employee list, on the other hand, even with 2 people working through the pile, the whole task still takes quite a while. It's a quarter of an hour later when put down the papers with a sigh. Move on to the clients upon Isabelle's insistence. For that, the sign-in form from the open house comes in handy. Hannah right, Luke right? Oh, it's okay. Something that gives me a laugh when I spy the fake name I wrote on one of the sheets. Which one could it be? Oh, Ashley.
I hate this name. It sounds so lame.
Ashley.
What name?
Nothing important. Just focus on those papers you have. We need to finish this soon, before Seb suspects anything.
Snatches the paper away before the thought of hiding it occurs to me. Not that there's much secret in it, Isabelle found me that afternoon anyway, but still.
Lee?
I've been careless that day, tailing Luke right without confirming where they were headed off to. While the butler's terrible efficient in keeping the right engagement from the public eye, there are other ways, if only I've given it the time of my day. In retrospect, I've been too eager, too impatient to find something that'll crack the case and be done with. Maybe my failure goes as far back as the day of the open house, not during the party last night.
Yeah, well, I was pressed for time.
Seriously? Ashley? Were you even trying?
Oh, come on. You didn't even notice I was the one who wrote it down.
Of course I wouldn't. Only an idiot would use his real name.
It worked, though. Admit it. It's genius. Who would have thought, huh?
She responds with a roll of her eyes, then drops the matter entirely by shoving the papers back to my hands. Now it's back to our respective tasks afterwards. We're scheming through everything. Red set aside, get another one. Looking back at the sign-in sheet, I spot Luke Wright and Hannah Wright up the top. Not that I don't know about them already, of course. Scanning through the list, a name immediately comes to my attention.
Madeline Williams.
Something wrong?
Huh? No, just that I remember this girl listed here.
She frowns, moves her seat closer, and takes a careful read at the sheet. It's a long moment before she speaks up again, but from the way she tenses, she appears to be expecting the worst already.
What about her?
She was with me, in the group following Cooper, when we toured the upstairs part of the mansion, I mean. Rather loud one, especially when we took a peek into the attic. kept talking about the ghost stories the whole tour.
Then, do you? Do you think she's...
She was reported missing 3 days after.
Oh. There was a ruckus at the precinct the day her family found it. Which were naturally given like a progress days later, despite desperate ones. Grandma was willing to shell out all the cash they had just to find her. To no avail, unfortunately. Officer Benjamin has been in a bad mood ever since he spoke with them. But what can he do? What can we do? He's tired. We're all tired. And I'm tired. There's only so much we're able to do. Everything that has been shoved into our hands recently.
She still hasn't been found. It's already been a week.
So it makes no further comment aside from a nod. Instead, she sits back in the chair with a distant look in her eyes. Hands balling to a fist. She struggles with her frustration? Or maybe it's anger. The moment doesn't last too long. Soon her grip loosens and she folds her hands back on her lip. Her expression, however, which we'll find out later because I actually need to end the video here because I think I recorded a little too long just like in the last part. So, yeah, if you guys enjoyed the video so far, go hit the like button maybe. And if you want to see what's going to happen in the next part or just anything I do in general, maybe go hit the subscribe button to be notified. And if you got anything to say in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Comrades?